Between now and 2032, there are 7 years of cataclysms and catastrophes. But we must bear with this. The Kalki will appear before the world and declare these golden age. How will we know that the Kalki has come? There will be two things. The breeze was leading me exactly along the path to Babaji's cave. The lightning struck in the skies as he said, Tathastu, Tathastu. And when I met him, I could not tolerate the splendor of his majesty. My innermost being became his outermost core, and his outermost being became my innermost core. Those who have already been purified incarnate as an avatar, the coming of the Kalki avatar, the Buddha, the Christ and the Zarathustra. Kundalini is the energy which evolves your consciousness and awakens all your chakras. Seeing God is not the purpose of life. You can see your God through a crystal mind, but that is the penultimate stage, not the final stage. So the purpose of all life and livingness is at the age of 22 to 20 to 18. I had a great urge to go to the Himalayas. I had also read the book long before, The Autobiography of a Yogi, in which this mysterious being, the invisible, visible savior of mankind, he was called. He was also called Shiva Baba or Trembak Baba. And the Shiv Baba aspect intrigued me. And so just after I had finished my schooling, I set out to the Himalayas. And along my journey, I had been told that there was a cave of Babaji in Ranikhet. There was a place of the king Shankadhvaj. And from there, the Ranikhet path, the Pagdadis led into the hills. And I followed this path. I wanted to meet the Shiv Baba, or the Trembak Baba, as Babaji was called. And I traveled along the hills. I did not know the way. This was when very few people knew this. But on the way, when I started from Dronagiri, this was known as Dunagiri, they call it Dronagiri Parvat. They say this was the same mountain which Hanumanji had picked up to take the Sanjeevani booty for Lakshmanji when he was wounded in battle. It's the same forest, and surprisingly enough, all the people there who were surrounding in Dronagiri and the nearby villages, they were all Tomars. And I found out later that the Tomars and the Pandavas had also come there. They were Tomars. So their surname was Tomar. Anyhow, going up, I could not find the way. So I met a young Kanya, a young girl on the hillside. And she was tending her sheep. Very, very beautiful little girl, 12 to 14 years old. And I said, where is the cave of Babaji? So she laughed at me and she said, don't worry, you will reach it. Just follow the breeze. I said, follow the wind. And I said, this is not an answer. So I carried on following the breeze up the hill. This was so funny. But it happened. It said, follow the breeze. And the breeze was leading me exactly along the path to Babaji's cave. The Babaji's cave in Dronagiri. I started from the temple which was there, the Durga temple. And this lady I later found, and when I turned around, she had disappeared. So that was my first vision of Durga at the Raja Shankadhvaj temple of Durga. But after I had this vision, I started my climb. And while I was climbing, there was a young girl, another young girl who met me. And when we went to a little higher altitude, she took out some latex from the pine coniferous trees in between, and she gave it to me to eat. She said, "Baba, ye khalo." And I ate it, and after chewing that, what it was, I don't know, but the whole breathing became lighter and my tiredness went away. So the little hill people, they knew these secrets, and so I climbed, and after some time, the girl left me, and I went and I approached the hill of Babaji. I approached that cave. That time, the organizations had not taken it over. So it was a slender cave. I have that photo of mine in the cave of Babaji in my book, Wings to Freedom. And I went there, and then thought I should rest. So I laid down on my back on a gentle slope near the cave of Babaji. That was the cave. And after some time, I closed my eyes. The clouds were in the sky, and then with closed eyes, I saw brightness with closed eyes, and I said, the clouds have been removed from my sight. And so the voice rung out in the firmaments. The voice came from everywhere and nowhere, and within my heart also. And there I said about this voice that God is everywhere, nowhere, and now here. I was thinking of these thoughts, and the same voice said to me, "Indeed, the clouds have been removed." So I turned from my supine state. I prostrated myself. I turned over onto my belly, and I just took my hands and prostrated like this. And then I asked, "Who art thou?" And the voice again rung out in the firmaments, "That thou, what thou thinkest me to be, that I am today. What thou thinkest me to be, that I am today." So in my mind, a certain words formulated, and I said, "Thou art Shiv Goraksha Babaji." And then the lightning struck in the skies as he said, "Tathastu, Tathastu, Tathastu." And that was my meeting with Shiv Goraksha Babaji. And when I met him, I could not tolerate the splendor of his majesty. The radiance was so much that I had to keep my eyes. I tried to open them, but I could not see. I had to keep them closed. And with them closed, I could see his figure. And then he told me what my work was. I was not thinking because I had no mind. I had gone into a state of samadhi. They say that samadhi only comes when the mind ceases. When the mind is dissolved, then only the consciousness of samadhi. So I was in this state of samadhi, the nirvikalpa samadhi. And in that I was getting these messages, more than in words, in photons of light. In photons of light. And I said, I'm not thinking, I'm not using my mind. So the consciousness, the Atma, the consciousness is superior to the buddhi or the mind. So I'm getting the information by Atma. It does not require the mind or the buddhi to collect information and to execute this information amongst the peoples of the world. So I received my information at the Atmic level through photons of light. And every time the photons of light and those thoughts came, the Atmic level had to lower itself to imprint it in the mind. My consciousness had to lower itself to imprint it in my mind, because the mind is composed of electron, protons, and neutrons, and to formulate any words, even if it is of a divine being. When they are formulated, these electrons, protons, and neutrons, that is the sattva, raja, and tamo guna, they form these words into vibrations and sounds. Then the information is got. So after that, I had this blessing. Of course, the blessing was when he initiated me, I felt a cool sensation running up my spine and a warm sensation running down. And I said, what is happening? Am I being bathed in a river or something? And this cool and warm sensation cleansed me. And after that, I was blessed by this blinding light of Babaji, where I could see his face only for a flash. And then after that, my innermost being became his outermost core, and his outermost being became my innermost core. Let me explain this to you. When my innermost being is my soul, that becomes Babaji's physical body, and his physical body became my soul. So even the physical body is the Atma of Babaji. What must be his spiritual body? So this was a very, very high state. And after that, I lost account of myself. I was not myself. In this, I have made a poem. बेहोश हो गए हम, बेहोश हो गए हम इस जिस्म जहां से, और होशे हवास संभाला, तब हम अपने न रहे. Do you understand Hindi or
I do
Persian?
completely, but I'm conscious most of our
But
audience
let
is
me
in
say
English,
it. Some
if you don't mind.
people in the
Yeah,
audience might understand. The
please.
second verse goes, a higher state of samadhi is divangi pe rakhte kadam. When I went into this madness of the searching of God, is divangi mein rakhte kadam, dam nikal gaya. When I searched this madness for God, my whole breath was sucked out of me, siphoned out of me. इस दीवानगी पे रखते कदम दम निकल गया, वापस आने पे हमदम और हम एक हो गए. When I returned, me and my beloved had become one. So it said, when I stepped into the craziness of the search for God, my air was pulled out of me like a vacuum, and I went into the higher states. When I returned to my body, I found that me and my beloved Babaji had become one. This is the poem I had written. And so after that, with great enthusiasm and exhilaration, and my joy knew no bounds, as the evening was setting, I returned down the hill of Dronagiri. They call it Dunagiri, but it's a Dronagiri Parvat. So this is the meeting with Babaji in short.
There's a element of there that those tuning in, the Himalayas are not the, and these areas are not the easiest to traverse. I wanted to touch on sincerity, because there's a sincerity in your search that was present at the time. Can you speak to us of the sincerity that's required in pursuit of, there was a sincerity in the pursuit of God there?
You want to know about the quality of sincerity required in the search for God?
The importance of it, and what it meant to you to be carrying that sincerely for yourself, and do you think that was a necessary ingredient for it to unveil what was unveiled to you?
Yes. You see, the quality of sincerity is connected to innocence and purity. The more pure your search. So this search, definitely, the motivation for this search was not of this life, but it was implanted in a past life, where I had this burning desire to see Babaji. And in one of my poems, after I had met him, my sincerity brought forth a poem saying to Babaji, "Who art thou? I know thee not. And yet I am of thee. Who art thou? I know thee not, and yet I am of thee. I cannot comprehend thee, Lord. I cannot comprehend thee, Lord, thou emperor of divinity. So then what do I do? What do I do? I asked myself, and then the next verse came to me. This is what you should do. I sit and melt in silence of thy love, O infinite. Make me thy truth. Make me thy love, eternal Lord of light. This is what sincerity is, and this is what the quality of sincerity entails. Whereas it is without any agenda. It's not a sauda or bargain. It is pure. You don't want God. Oh God, I want you because you must make me pass in my exams. You must give me a good job. You must give me a beautiful wife. These are all agendas. You're seeking God for something in return. When you seek God for God's sake, then that is the purity of the search. That is the purity of the search. This is very, very important.
Inspired souls, I wanted to take a moment to thank all of you that are subscribed to this podcast. Everything you see around here is powered and empowered by your subscription to this channel. Thank you so much for your incredible love and support. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do take a moment. As I'm saying the word subscribe, the button below is lighting up in the colors of the Inspired Evolution. Please hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon, and join the community, join the movement, spreading love, positivity, and wisdom, touch wood, like this, around the planet together. Thank you so much in advance for your incredible support. And if you want to take the essence of community even deeper, don't forget to check out the Inspired Evolution Circle, where guests like Yogiraj and others come on once a month to grace us, and you as the audience get to ask the questions directly of these guests. And once a week, I gather with you meditation, sharings. It's an incredible space, even if I can say so, touch wood, myself. Join us on the inside in the Inspired Evolution Circle. That's inspiredevolution.com/circle. You can take your connection to the podcast deeper by joining us there on the inside. See you there. It's interesting. I also wanted to see if you'd speak to us of grace, because at some point the search was your own to go look for Babaji. But at some point you came to the realization that it was through Babaji's grace that you were being actually lured or invited, or I don't know what the word is that you would use, but yeah.
So he is the one who called me. I thought that I was going, but at the last stage, after the cold and warm feeling when he initiated me, I went into the state of Nirvikalp Samadhi, where I forgot the hot and cold feeling of cleansing of all the motor sensory nerves, the nadi cleansing, and the chitta shuddhi, the mind cleansing happened. Then I knew that he was within me. You see, the great being, Babaji is the direct representative of Shiva on this earth. And he, both at once, empowers creation as well as receives creation through each individual soul as his Atma. And between his empowering the creation and as Paramatma and we receiving the creation as Atma is sandwiched the ego, which casts the veil of delusion, illusion, and error on the buddhi, which is the delusion covering the Atma. So the buddhi is the one that gets enlightened and knows that it is free. The Atma is ever free. And when the veil of buddhi is removed from between the Paramatma and the Atma, between Jiva and Shiva, then they both unite to become one. And that is self-realization. Jiva Shivachi Zadali Samadhi. This is it.
Yogirajji, what is the purpose of the veil? Why does the veil exist? Why sandwich this veil in? Why must that be inserted? Like, what purpose does it serve? If we didn't just have that, wouldn't we just be walking around self-realized? Wouldn't that be a better state of affairs?
You see, The Lord God, our innermost being, is sparks of the infinite radiance of the Lord, inconceivable. These sparks are sent to the earth, into this creation, into the world, to learn and experience and grow richer. They are sent in the university of life. So the spirit, which is called the Jiva or the soul, enters into the descending arc, and consciousness or spirit delves deeper and deeper into matter. That is called the involution of the spirit or the soul in matter. That is one arc. All human beings clothed in a body have to go into the descending arc of materialism. That is known as the pravritti marg. Then there's another ascending arc. After you have gained experience on the earth, then that is the ascent of the Atma, the Jiva or the soul, from matter unto the Supreme Spirit. So one is the descent of consciousness, the involution of consciousness in matter, and the second is the evolution of consciousness after having learnt the lessons of life and creation, the evolution of that soul consciousness from matter into the Supreme Spirit, known as the Supreme Reality. So that is the way of reality. And this is the way. And creation is duality. And reality is singularity. So this is a play between the singularity and the duality. So the duality is Maya. That is um, gives you learning of your lessons of life. After you have learned the lessons of life and you have conquered all desires and purified your mind in the ascending arc, you ascend to that pristine purity of reality. This is the game of life. This is the game of the Lord. It is called Leela. And the constant merging of new souls entering into matter and going back to their parent source in spirit. The downward arc is entering, the spirit enters matter. The upward arc is the spirit soul goes from matter. Having gained that experience, it goes into pure consciousness.
There are people that are searching enlightenment. Yeah. Is it possible to be enlightened whilst also in the human experience, or are there only certain levels of gradients that you can reach, back towards enlightenment, as you said, the ascending path?
There are two types of people who go in the cycle of birth and death. Birth, death, and back to liberation. The first part of people are the common lot of people who are not evolved to that degree, and hence, having the pure consciousness in them, they still have the veil of consciousness in them. Having the veil of Maya covering their sight, they still have pure consciousness in them. But that veil has to be, there are many veils of the physical body, emotional body, mental body, and all its desires and all its nuances. So these veils, as they are purified in the journey of life, in the descending journey of life, those veils are thickened. Man enjoys wine, women, and laughter, and sermons and soda water the day after. That's the common man. The common man, he likes this. So, as you know, you see all of us, the common Ken, everyone,
Yeah,
they have to go
common
through
good.
this cycle, and then
Yeah.
God tells them, you see, sermons and soda water alone is okay, but there's something you have with the soda water, you have to leave. So, in his upward arc, he leaves all his vices,
Mm.
his addiction to smoking, soda water, extra sexual activity, cheating one another in the bank, having a Machiavellian mind. All these things are purified to the state of a child. And the mind is like peeling of an onion. You keep peeling the onion layer after layer. So first you put the layers on the onion on the soul, and then you, after having experienced all the joys of the earth, after having, as they say, sown your wild oats, then you go to the upward path, and then you start renouncing all these things. Just as you grow old, when you're a child, you like childish things. When you grow up, you put away those childish things. So also with the desires and all the outward going things, you have to become inward. As you leave each desire, you peel the onion, and your mind gets purer and purer and purer. These states of mind and consciousness are known as the supraconscious states of mind entering pure consciousness. So this is one state. But your question is this: can we have pure consciousness and live in this world? Yes, you can. This is the other type of people. Those who in their past life have done the journey of the descending arc into materialism and ascending arc from matter to spirit, those who have already been purified, they again incarnate. They incarnate as an avatar or a savior of humanity, the second advent of Christ, the coming of the Kalki avatar, the Buddha, the Christ and the Zarathustra. These people who they incarnate, they are already enlightened, and they come to serve humanity as their larger self. So that's the other kind of soul. And even lesser beings are enlightened. They realize pure consciousness without the veil. Or they have the veil for a time being, and they are easily able to cast it. There are different shades and grades of the evolution of human mind and the humankind. Some have a thick veil, some thin veil, and some no veil. That is, they are pure consciousness. The Christ, the Krishna, Buddha, and Ram, Zarathustra, Guru Nanak, all these people. Have you heard of Guru Nanak? Have you heard of
Yes,
Guru Nanak?
yes, very much
Yes,
so.
you have.
Yes,
Yes,
very
very
much so.
much so. Have you heard of Krishna and Christ and Ram,
Yes, of course. Yes. Yeah.
Zarathustra?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Then that's it. Those are the ones who come with enlightened consciousness.
Can I ask in relevance to the first type of person that comes in and goes through, there's these two schools of thought. One is in order to experience the material world, you need to there are two approaches, right? One is to sort of say you're here to, like you said, soda water in sermons comes after all this, I don't want to say debauchery, but somewhat indulgences of the desires, let's put it that way.
Yes, yes, yes.
So there's these indulgences of desires. There are two main philosophical schools of thought. One is to say that the only way out of the desire is through the desire, that you must honor the desire, go into it, drink of it, be drowned by it, and then emerge on the other side and realize that it was just desire. There are other schools of thought which say it's just desire, avoid it at all costs. You don't have to look at it, just, circumnavigate desire on your way back up and out. What are your thoughts on either of those approaches?
My thoughts are both are right. But the people who are advocating their philosophy have forgot to put them in the correct sequence. There is a sequence for
Please.
everything. So the first philosophy is right because when you are involved in materialism and you are a man of the world and you have desires, you need to go through those desires and fulfill those desires. When you have fulfilled those desires on the descending arc, you must do it. You cannot avoid it. When they become subtler and subtler, and when you have had enough of them, then you go on the descending arc, and those desires just flitter through your mind. They become very gentle and soft. And that is the time you can just eliminate them by a thought: get thee behind me, Satan. That is the time, because it's very feeble. The desires are very feeble and they can be overcome. So when they can be overcome, they must be overcome in the ascending arc. In the descending arc, if you try to suppress those desires, you land up with rash or with some psychological disturbances or epilepsy. You must not be unnatural. Flow with the circadian rhythms of nature. Congress with two sexes is one of the most wonderful things for the procreation. Otherwise, you and I would not be here if there was no sex. So from sex, You lead gradually to samadhi, from sex to a pure life, moral living, then to a devotional life, then to a meditational life, then to a samadhi life, and then to the total merger with God. So it's a gradual process. Like a flower doesn't give its fragrance immediately, it has to grow through the mud. You know, there's a saying that the lily grows in the dung heap.
Mm.
So you have to go through those desires of the dung heap. You have to have good fun and nothing is wrong. The thing that is a perfect wrong thing is to have a sense of guilt or fear. That is the sin. The action is not a sin because it is from God.
It can be quite disorienting in the dung heap. How do you stay oriented on your way through the dung heap?
Nature orients you, your society orients you. You see, in the dung heap, when you're a young man from 20 to 40 to 60, you're earning your money. You have a right to buy your own house. You have a right to marry. You have a right to have children, and you have a right to indulge in family life, of relating, to have children. You have a right to your luxuries and whatever your desires are. So that is that stage of the ascending arc. Those sort of people cannot be pushed into pure spirituality. Their stage is that. You know, that is their stage. You have to give the proper person the proper medicine and the proper evolutionary techniques. Like even Christ, when he explained to simple people, he said, pray to your Father who is in heaven. When he went to I'm talking about the ascending arc, went to a little more advanced people who were meditating deeper and had visions, connections with God or their deity. They saw Guru Nanak or he felt him in his heart. They said, I am the vine and you are the branches. Then when he went to the totally advanced ones who are having that oneness, like I had a oneness with Babaji, to them they say, me and my father are one. Vaheguru, Vaheguru, Vaheguru. Vaheguru सुना है?
हाँ जी, बिल्कुल जी। हर रोज़ जाते
हाँ,
हैं।
तो Vaheguru बोलते हैं. When they get into joy, they say Vaheguru, Vaheguru.
Yeah. Hey there, Inspired Souls. Spirituality is not something we just talk about here at the Inspired Evolution. It's something we live and breathe with our entire beings. Whether it's in your career, your life, the way you lead in the world, or your relationships, it's at the heart of the way we believe life should be lived. And so if you're feeling out of alignment, or you can feel that there's something more, or you're feeling like you're not thriving in life, touch wood, the way that you ought to be, then we've got guidance to take you even deeper. You've got support from me one-on-one, and you've also got a like-minded, like-hearted community masterminding, master-hearting together through guidance together. And you don't have to take my word for it. This is how people all over the world have transformed through guidance.
Everything just kind of fell into place, and now I'm on a path that I actually believe in and I'm excited about, because I feel like I'm becoming my best self.
Over those 2 years, I have done so much. I can't believe where I am now. I'm thrilled where I am now. Not only was he a coach, but he became a divine presence in my life.
You can show up to Amrit with all sorts of chaos in your life and you leave feeling completely centered with some direction that is going to get you results. It's just magic when you're in coaching with Amrit. You just flow with it all.
I feel that I have access and connection to somebody who is deeply entrenched in my development.
If you're thinking about it, just do it. You won't regret it.
So what are you waiting for? If you feel the call, then join me on a call. amritsandhu.com/call. Link on screen now, and also at the top of the description in the show notes below. Join me in a call. Let's dive in deep to your path, onwards, upwards, and inwards from here. I'm looking forward to seeing you in a call. Go on, I'll see you there. 2 questions about the avatars. Because you said they were the second type of people that actually are enlightened, they come down there. Well, one of the questions is, why are we graced with enlightened beings? Which is, what is the purpose of avatars and maha avatars? Like, what is the purpose of these people? And secondly, for the people that are in the first camp, proximity to these avatars, what does it do for their consciousness through transmission? I'm not sure if everybody can feel today's conversation as it's happening, but being in conversation today with you is there is the conversation that is happening, touch wood, but there's also an experience that is being
Yes,
transmitted through
yes,
subtle
experience.
awareness.
Yes.
So my question is, what is the role of avatars and maha-avatars that descend, and what is the importance of proximity for people to these avatars and maha-avatars, and what does proximity do?
So the reason for the avatars is to evolve the human consciousness. It is to speed up and accelerate our evolution from man the brute to man the man to man the God. So how does he do it? He is mentioned in the Gita, Paritranaya sadhunam, to destroy the evil. Paritranaya sadhunam, to protect the righteous, the sadhus. Vinashanaya cha dushkratam, to destroy the evil. Dharma samsthapanarthaya, sambhavami yuge yuge. This is the purpose of the avatar. I will explain to you what it is line by line. So I incarnate on this earth as an avatar, says Lord Krishna, and all the other avatars. I come to protect the righteous, paritranaya sadhunam, to destroy the evil, vinashanaya cha dushkratam, to destroy the evil, and to establish the dharma, to bring ease and order and equilibrium in the imbalanced state of humanity and the earth. I reincarnate every yuga. Sambhavami yuge yuge. I come every yuga. This is the work of the avatar in brief. So you will ask me, you say the first one I know, to protect the righteous people on this earth, those who are being done harm, and those who are following the good path from the rogues and rascals. The second is to destroy the evil people who are hindering the evolution, the human consciousness from expanding, to destroy the evil. To protect the righteous, to destroy the evil, to establish a balance on this earth. Now this earth and all of us are made of vibrations. These vibrations have the three gunas. Have you heard of the gunas?
Yes, but I think it'd be awesome for us if you could share them with us, the
Yes.
Tatvik,
So
Satvik,
the
and
gunas, I've added an extra dimension to the gunas. There's the sattva gun of luminosity,
right,
represented by the electron. The rajogun of activity, represented by the proton. And the tamogun of inertia, represented by the neutron. Now these electron, protons and neutrons are in a balance. All these gunas and vibrations, if there is a war between Russia and Ukraine, the balance of the earth gets upset. The human beings are disturbed also, and in them, their minds, which are composed of the three gunas, electron, proton, neutron, sattva, rajatama, that's also upset. The avatar comes to bring a balance and equilibrium. Dharma samsthapanar. I come to bring an equilibrium to the minds of humanity and to the activities of humanity, so that they may go forth on their spiritual journey to God. Was in a way help, and in a way, when they are over, they had to be put an end to. So this is what the avatar's work is. Now, your second question is, what is the effect of the avatar in proximity to those various souls? So the proximity of these various souls doesn't come like this. The avatar, let us say, is a magnetic rod And we are the iron filings going around the rod. Now the magnet has a field, the magnetic field, electromagnetic field. Unless the iron filings are purified enough and sensitive enough to know the magnetism, to feel the magnetism of the avatar and come in his magnetic field, they will not be able to come. So only the chosen ones, in the sense, scientific sense, those who are pure by their own meditation, they will come and they will meet they will come stick to the magnetic field. So that's how he works. Then there will be a next circle of human beings circling around. So the avatar is like a magnet, and human beings are like magnet filings. Only when they come in the magnetic field of the avatar are they able to meet him and avail further evolution. Before that, they practice preliminary things. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Be kind to your neighbors. Care and share with everyone. Simple principles. And through morality, then they come to spirituality. That's the gradual way of evolution of human consciousness. From man the brute, to man the man, to man the God. Evolution is necessary. The first man was a monkey man in the Miocene period of 50,000 years ago. He just raised his hands from the floor. The first ape man. Evolution began from there to our present day.
When we look around in present day, you turn on the news, there's a lot of war, there's a lot going on in the world. But actually also, when you look back at past man-woman history, we were more brutish in our nature. So collectively, we are also on an upward ascending, evolving arc, would you say? Can you speak to us of the collective evolution that we're going through at this time?
Well, humanity is called the world disciple. And the overshadowing consciousness of reality is our guide. Now, this evolution which is taking place, first people were very brutish. That was tens of thousands of years ago. But they evolved from man the brute. They evolved to man the man, although some people are still brutish. So the evolution is happening gradually. And then some people are man the God, like the Buddha, the Christ. All the rest are man the man. And those who commit terrorism and atrocities are man the brute. So all this is an evolutionary cycle. And there are techniques, like the technique of Kriya Yoga, to evolve your consciousness. By the technique of Kriya Yoga, you can salvage a crystal consciousness from the trammels of your senses. Your senses are the ones which make your consciousness look outward. The consciousness must extricate itself from the trammels of the senses and face towards the Supreme Lord. This is the technique of Kriya Yoga, technique of all different types of yogas, to take you fast towards God or your parent source or the reality, as I call it.
Can you tell us more about Kriya Yoga then? Because it's a big part of your teachings and why you're here.
Well, yoga and Kriya Yoga, let me tell you what yoga is. Yoga is an inner ascent. It's an inner ascent through ever more refined and ever more expanded spheres of mind to get to that God essence, that consciousness which lies at the core of your own being. This is what yoga is. It's an inner journey. It's not an outward thing. That's why there are techniques. They block the eyes, they temporarily go away where there's no noise, so that they can concentrate on the inner self. And yoga teaches you not to depend upon externals for your happiness. Do not depend upon externals for your happiness, for one day they will leave you. Your Ferrari car will get bashed up one day. Your father will leave you one day. Your mother will leave you one day. Your brother will go his ways. So this is a fact of life. You should not be sorry about that, but you should focus on and depend on something which will never leave you. So do not depend upon externals for your happiness. The answer lies within. The answer lies within the core of your consciousness. That stillness and peace which satisfies all your desires is the soul within. And therefore yoga, or yog more properly, is the way and techniques to look within you and evolve your consciousness, settle or dissolve the layers of your mind, and express the self-realization of consciousness within you. This is very, very important. Very important to never depend upon externals for your happiness, because they will let you down. And this inner self and your breath, which is why we use Kriya Yoga. Kriya Yoga is the constant abrasion of the breath in your spinal cord, which purifies, rounds the rough edges of your ego and purifies your mind. Ultimately, the mind becomes so pure and clear that through your mind, you can see God, you can see the purity. But then to mind, no matter how clear, seeing God is not the purpose of life or the ultimate goal. And you can see your God through a crystal mind. But that is the penultimate stage, not the final stage. So unless you remove that last veil of the mind, you cannot be God. So the purpose of all life and livingness is not to see God, it is to be God. And to be God, that last veil of the mind has to be removed, because that itself is a very, very fine film of matter which is composed of electron, proton and neutrons. The Sattvagun, Rajagun and Tamagun.
For those that want to find out more about how to engage in Kriya, what's the best way to do that, Yogiraj?
To engage in Kriya, there are many institutes and support systems and organizations. So we have an organization, the Siddhanath Yoga Parampara of Kriya Yoga. So you can practice the Kriya Yoga by coming to our organization. I will initiate people into the science of Kriya Yoga, you see, and then you can practice it on your own. Kriya Yoga consists of three things. They are mentioned in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, the Sutrani Sutra of Patanjali, Bhagwan Patanjali. The first aspect of Kriya Yoga is tapa, that is self-directed austerities and discipline. You must discipline your body and mind and practice every day without fail, irrespective of outer conditions. So this is self-directed discipline and secure austerities. Self-directed discipline. Then comes the second aspect of Kriya, Swadhyay, means self-study. So self-study means studying the essence of your soul through the emotional, egotistic, and intuitional prisms of the mind. The physical prism of the mind you study, your body. Then study the emotional prism of the mind, a different color. Then study the devotional principle of the mind. Then study the intuitional or meditative principle of the mind. And after you have studied them, discard them. After you have discarded them, then go into pure consciousness, and then you are self-realized. These are the steps. Tapa, Swadhyaya and Ishwar Pranidhan are the three ways of Kriya. So Tapa is self-directed austerities and discipline. Swadhyaya is studying of the mind by the practice of rhythmic breathing, which is Kriya Yoga. And third is the Ishwar Pranidhan, means offer your soul with love and devotion to Guru and God. When you do that, the ego goes away, then you can be fast on your way of enlightenment. I've written, the more my I doth disappear, the more the self as God appears. So it's peeling off the layers of the ego. The more my I doth disappear, the more the self as God appears. And here I come in America and I see a big poster with a lady, fashionable lady on it, and she's saying, attitude is everything. In America, they don't say ego. They call the ego attitude. But I'm saying attitude is the main obstacle between you and God. You have to be pure in heart, like a child of 5. Attitude doesn't do. That's the downward arc.
Attitude disrupts your altitude.
Yes, it disturbs your mental altitude. That's the lowest end of the barometer.
Talking about altitude, you mentioned Kriya and its relationship with your spine. And yeah, I mean, it was really important for me, even just personally, to hear the way that you articulated that as we're breathing and just the relationship with what's going on in the spine. Part of your teachings and part of your work. And I get a little bit nervous bringing up Kundalini because I think it is a word that more and more people in the West are coming to. I think there are certain sensitivities that are important to be aware of before even approaching such a topic. Maybe you can help us with that. But what is Kundalini and the importance of Kundalini?
So let me tell you one thing. The Kundalini, when you do the rhythmic Kriya breathing, you use your breath. When your breath becomes concentrated and pure, then that very breath takes the form of pran, which is life force energy. And when life force energy is concentrated, that life force energy transforms into, from the pranic energy transforms into Kundalini. The pran is like an atomic bomb. Kundalini is like a hydrogen bomb. The Kundalini, the constituents of a Kundalini are nothing more than your breath. They are interwoven. Your breath, your pran, okay? Your mind, breath, pran, mind and vital fluid. So your breath, pran, mind and vital fluid, these are the things which combine. Ojas, tejas and pran. Sindhi is difficult, so I'm not taking it. Ojas is the vital fluid in its way to transforming to divine nectar, which is a portion of the Kundalini. So Kundalini is your vital sexual fluid, your pranic electrical energy, the mind and your human breath, all intertwined, which is Ojas, Tejas and Pran, which is the vital fluid. Tejas is the life force energy of Kundalini, and Pran is consciousness. These three things at a higher level combined, they form the Kundalini. All these things. So psychically, when you're doing the practice, you're picking up a lot of your vital fluid, the psychic essence. Because one condensed drop of sperm can create an Einstein or a Buddha. Can you imagine the power of that one condensed drop of sperm? It is given in the Gorakshanath Bindu Rahasya, the Rahasya of the drop, the vital drop of fluid, because of which you and I and everybody are here. That is so explosive, more than an atom bomb, and it has the power to have a Christ or a Buddha. So that's why in later states of yoga, the vital fluid, sperm and vital fluid is conserved. And they tell later yogis and in very advanced stage, not to waste or fritter away the energy, the vital energy, but to use it for ojas, to use it to climb up the spinal cord, to climb to higher regions, to get power to see God. So Kundalini is a scientific technique of rhythmic breath. And this rhythmic breath, when Kriya Yoga is done, Kundalini gradually, there's nothing to fear. It gradually comes. Those who are uninitiated or who do not have a Sadguru, they have complaint of this, like the late Gopi Krishna. And he's written an interesting treatise also. So Kundalini is the energy which rises from the base of the spine to the top of the head. And as it rises, it evolves your consciousness and awakens all your chakras. Kundalini, the life force energy.
Meeting with Gary Zukov was one of the most important moments of my life. There's a couple times where he was just talking us through something and it just hit. And I think it's because we shared the same space with him. Because you watch a lot of people online and it doesn't feel the same as when you're sharing space with somebody. Like that moment, that memory, that one little tick in time. It does feel very different once you have that kind of awakening and remembering. Different people are different stages of their awakening. So when I start talking in a certain way, it sounds kind of nutty. And so I can talk very freely among my circle members and feel that I'm heard and validated and welcomed. Everybody's been so nice and open and non-judgmental. We're all being brought together in some magical way. I just look forward to more connections and what we can do with it. I would say that if you're curious about joining Circle or you feel that there's a calling to a community of like-minded people, that you should click the link down below and join. And it's super easy and super friendly and very affordable. And I would definitely recommend it.
One of the questions I've also got is around, because a lot of what we've been discussing today has been around this unified field and then us coming down into this dual reality that we're living in and the nature of the dual reality. Certain points of, I asked the question, how do we orient ourselves amongst the dung heap? Then we got our way into Kriya and how to actually purify and these certain energetic life forces, like you're saying, through the Kundalini. There are in the Hindu scripture 2 primordial forces of Shiva and Shakti in the duality. Can you, for those that are tuning in from the West, explain in your ways what is Shiv and what is Shakti and the different roles that they play the different roles that they play for the human experience?
So here the beginning of creation comes where the absolute reality sends forth its drishti, that it is the seer, the supreme seer is God. And when God sees, creation happens. Now, when God is seeing, the first power that is emitted from God is Shiva. When Shiva is seeing, another supreme powers emitted. That is, when the Param Shiva, or the reality, projects its sight, its drishti, in the projection of its drishti, in the seeing, the Supreme Being, when he sees, the first one that is created is Shiva, and is seeing, the second one created is Shakti. So when Shiva creates, he is projected by the Supreme. So the Supreme is beyond consciousness. So consciousness is the second thing that is projected, which is Shiva. Now when this is projected, through that projection a Shakti forms. That is energy, primordial energy
Radiates off the Shiva almost,
of
radiates
Shiva.
your...
So Param Shiva, we do not know what the supreme reality is. But Shiva, the absolute reality, we know. And Shiva, he protects creation. He empowers creation, but in that, through Shiva is energy created, the Shakti. And then the Shakti is born. And what is this Shakti? She is the divine mother, but she has no qualities as yet. But in that looking of Parabrahma, the supreme creator, in the looking of Lord God, the Lord is created, Shiva. And after the Lord is created in his meditation, Shakti is created. It's a very deep subject. And Shakti is known as Prakriti. And, and Shiva is the Purush. Shakti is the Prakriti. But the Param Shiva is not mixed in Purush and Purush Prakriti being there. Purush and Prakriti then exist together from eons of eternity. Now, what is Shiva made of as Purush? He is pure consciousness permeating the pure mind, yet not mixing with it. Like oil doesn't mix in water. So the concept of Shiva and Shakti we call Ishwar. The reality and Param Shiva are still separate. So Purush is pure consciousness. Shakti is pure energy composed of electrons, protons and neutrons. That is Sattva, electrons, Raja, protons and Tamogun, inertia, neutrons. She is composed of that. Now when Shiva gets into that, this energy, this mass is animated. Otherwise, the whole creation would be inanimate. So the animator is Shiva of the whole of creation. And the power in the creation, which is animated by Shiva, is Shakti. And in relative sequence, permutation, combination, the electron vibration becomes electron, proton, and neutron. The electron, protons, and neutrons, they vibrate to become the atom. Then the atom again vibrates to become the molecule, and so on, so forth in graded order. Our creation is composed of Prakriti or Adi Shakti. So the whole of creation is a play between Purush and Prakriti, Purush Shiva and Prakriti Shakti. And Shakti has all electron, protons, and neutrons. But Shiva is the consciousness. If doesn't add, just like the waves are Shakti, and the underlying ocean is Shiva. This is the relationship. But in this case, Shiva does not touch Shakti, but animates it through and through to the smallest photon and neutron.
Can you potentially give us the English words for Purush and Prakriti?
This is a very interesting thing that you've asked me. Can you tell me in English what is Purush and what is Prakriti? Let us start with Purush. I will tell you in English what is Purush, and I will tell you in poetry.
Perfect.
Where's that poem we have? I can read it out, or I can say it like this. I'll say it twice and you choose the best one. So in describing one person, long time said, what are these people saying, God, God? Can you describe God without using the word God? So I said, yes, I can describe the word God without using the word God. So this world our sages did perceive is mind stuff materialized. In relative sequence it is built, deceiving mortal eyes. This world our sages did perceive is mind stuff materialized. This is Prakriti. The mind stuff of Prakriti or nature is composed of electrons, protons, and neutrons. So I'm describing Prakriti now first. So Prakriti or nature is matter. It cannot be beyond electrons, protons, and neutrons. Or there's subtler, what do you say, photons and quarks and neutrinos. Those are the subtle aspects. They're all vibrations consisting of these three. Now, this is called Prakriti, and the whole of creation, whole of nature, she is called nature. She is called the creation. Prakriti is called creation, nature, Mother Nature. Our vast universe is Prakriti, and she is composed of what distinguishes her is her very nature. Prakriti is composed of electrons, protons, and neutrons. The sattva gunas, she is composed of gunas, sattva electron, raja proton, and tamogun as inertia and neutron. Luminosity, activity, and inertia, these are her qualities. That is Prakriti. Nature with the vibrations of electrons, protons, and neutrons is called Prakriti. She is everything in creation, but all this is matter from the grossest element to the subtlest light is all Prakriti, because from light to matter, it is all made of electron, protons, and neutrons. Okay, this is Prakriti. This is nature. Now, Purush, this world our sages did perceive is mind stuff materialized. In relative sequence it is built, deceiving mortal eyes. This is Prakriti. Then he says, the sages say, all that is composed they knew. They were searching for God. They were searching for Purush. So they said, all that is composed they knew must get decomposed. Where then does reality lie? Where then does Purush lie? All matter being composed. So they've eliminated Prakriti or nature or creation because it's composed of electron, proton. Then they said, here they come to the description of Purush when they sit in the greatest thing. That all-pervading consciousness of stillness through eternity must of necessity proclaim its ultimate reality. Composed of nothing, yet of which all else is sure composed. That means the Purusha is composed of nothing. It's pure awareness. It is pure consciousness. It is composed of no electron, proton, neutrons. It's pure consciousness, pure awareness, composed of nothing, yet of which all else is sure composed. By its very looking at Prakriti, she gets into action and starts creating creation. Composed of nothing, yet of which all else is sure composed. He stands supreme, beyond all dreams, eternally reposed. So, God is that all-pervading consciousness. He is still and He is silent. I will explain this Purush in poetic terms.
It almost can't be pointed to. It's beyond the finger. Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Then stiller than stillness itself. In silence, I do behold my innermost rising star. Then stiller than stillness itself. In silence, I do behold my innermost rising star. I dissolve in that mystery untold, so near, yet so afar. So he dissolves in the mystery untold, but that's the penultimate stage. And when that awareness and the star dissolve into one nothingness, that is the supreme reality. He about whom no words can be found. And this supreme reality, it motors, it fuels the existence of creation, and yet remains as nothing. So Purush is pure consciousness, still, eternal, and silent. And Prakriti is pure movement of electrons, protons, and neutrons called nature, which gives birth to creation through the galaxies, the stars, and all other faculties, and gives birth to you and I. But the great nothing, the great reality beyond the vibration of electron, protons, and neutrons, by his mere presence, fuels the existence of creation and fuels and energizes our life and livingness too. This is Purush and this is Prakriti. This is the supreme reality of nothingness and silence, and this is creation of everything else and noise. Om.
Inspired souls, lumen beings, I'm almost afraid to ask, what are you taking away from today's incredible podcast, dare I say transmission? There is so much ground and depth, just the depth of what's being covered here in today's podcast. Please let us know in the comments below. Join in on the conversation. What are your biggest takeaways? Touchwood, we're likely to have Yogiraj back on again in the future. What are some questions that you've got for him based on this tapestry of content that we've covered here today? What are some of your questions that you would like me to ask the next time he comes back onto the podcast? Touchwood, I also really hope you're enjoying this conversation up until this point, so do give it a thumbs up and a like. It lets conversations like this get their way around the internet further and faster, so thank you so much in advance for your incredible support. Yogiraj, thank you so much for taking the time to explain that, and so beautifully and so poetically as well. And I can't help but reflect as you're sharing that, just the depths of which you're sharing from does feel like a complete transmission. So I just wanted to speak to the subtler dimension. I just wanted to speak to that because it's, yeah.
It's a euphoria of the gods.
Touch wood. Can I ask, you also mentioned back to the avatar conversation that you were having, Maha Avatars, who is Kalki? And you said Kalki is potentially returning and that Babaji has held some space for him to be returning. What is going on here in your awareness? Can you tell us a little bit about that, please?
So, as you know, we have 10 spiritual beings which entered our earth in the cycle of evolution, of this world cycle. They were Matsya, the fish avatar, Kacha, the second avatar, which is the tortoise, Matsya, Kacha, and Varaha. The third was the boar, the Shvet Varaha Kalpa. We are half past it now. Matsya, Kacha, Varaha. The fourth is Vaman. The fourth is Narsimha, half man, half lion avatar. The fifth avatar is Parushuram, Vaman, that is the dwarf. Matsya, Kacha, Varaha, Narsimha, Vaman. Sixth is Parushuram, the avatar with the axe to destroy the evil and establish righteousness. The seventh avatar is Lord Ram. The eighth avatar is Lord Krishna, called the Purna avatar, the full avatar, the full Messiah. They're all the Messiahs which come through the ages. Avatar is a Messiah, a Savior. Masiha, the Savior. They're called Messiahs. The ninth avatar is Buddha. And the 10th avatar, which has already come, is the Kalki avatar, which ends the world cycle. And he will come. He is already born in a place called Sambalpur. From this Sambalpur, 7 years from now, there will be a lot of world war-like situations, skirmishes, turmoils, innocent people getting shot, and a lot of upheaval of shifting of tectonic plates, earthquakes and fires, big fires and earthquakes. Just the other day, yesterday we had an earthquake over here in Kamchatka in Russia, 8.8 in the Richter scale. And then there's one 7.6, as though that were not enough, and then one 5.4 or something. So these are called cataclysms. these cataclysms of the shifting of the tectonic plates, you know, they are the nature's cataclysms. They will also be there in these 7 years till 1932. In 1932, the Kalki will appear before the world and declare the golden age, the Satya Yuga. He will go to Sambal and declare the Satya Yuga in 2032. 1932 is past. In 2032, he will declare the Satya Yuga. But between now, 2025 and 2032, there are 7 years of cataclysms and catastrophes. A world war is like a catastrophe. But we must bear with this, and the avatars who have gone before us have given us the science of Kriya Yoga to protect your spine, to protect your whole body and aura from these cataclysms and from these catastrophes which could bring harm to you. Therefore, we practice what is called, I have started, the earth peace meditations. This is very important for you to know, where we
Please.
do the earth peace, spreading the white swans and focusing, bombarding the earth with swans of peace in the hearts of 8 billion, 70,000 million people over the earth. We do the earth peace meditations. It's called the Siddhanath Earth Peace through Self Peace meditations. That's to protect us, and the practice of Kriya Yoga.
That opened up another question for me, because there's this conversation that we're going through Kali Yuga, and then we go to Dwapara,
Yes,
then we go to Treta,
now I
then we go
have
to
to finish
Satya.
this.
Yeah,
Let me finish. The
please.
Kalki avatar. So this Kalki avatar is growing, is about 14 years, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. He'll be 21 years old when he goes to the Sambal, from Sambalpur to Sambal, and declare the Satya Yuga. He is living in Orissa now, and he will go to the northern provinces of India and declare the golden age. By that time, we are told to practice Kali Yuga, which protects the shield of armor around us and keeps us from harm's way. That's why we practice Kriya Yoga, to evolute our consciousness and also keep us from harm's way. Therefore, the Kalki is coming. He will, and how will he be known? The question is, how will we know when the Kalki comes? I'm sorry, I'm asking a question for you, because it's very, very important to know
Such a great question.
two things. They asked me, Gurunath, when the Kalki comes, how will we know that the Kalki has come? And then, what are we to do? We are practicing Kriya Yoga. What are we supposed to do when he comes? So the first is, when the Kalki comes, how will the spiritual people know? There will be two things. You will feel, as you are talking with me now, you are feeling a transmission. Right. You will feel a transmission when you see him. It's more or less like this. You will feel a transmission, and you will feel the radiance around his whole body and his head. It will be a visible, invisible radiance. You can see it, but you cannot see it. And people with the pure eyes, people with clairvoyance and psychicism can feel him more than normal people. But you will feel an aura which will radiate to you and will be pushing you back. So that is how you will recognize him. But simultaneously, you will feel a pull from his heart. So here you'll feel an apex of energy transmitting to you. And here you will feel a vortex of magnetism pulling you towards him like this. It'll pull the sensitive more forcefully than the others. So these are the two electromagnetic signs of the Kalki. He will radiate and push you with his transmission, and he will pull you with his sammohan. That is magnetism. So that is the science when you see Kalki. You see, our masters also have this in more or less proportion as you're experiencing now. There's no better experience than I can give you of myself. If you open your heart and sit more silent, you will also feel me pulling towards you. So let's hope you come for the Kriya Yoga, and you'll feel the radiation. You'll feel the transmission also. So it'll be an electromagnetic phenomenon pulling the vortex and the apex. So this is how you'll realize who the Kalki is, when you go personally and you see it. Other men don't have this. They don't have the vortex. They don't have the radiation. transmission pushing you, and they have the magnetism pulling you. This word is a magnetism which pulls you. Uh, in the Indian word, is English is called gravity. His gravity, gravitas, will pull you. That's known as Gurutva Akarshana. Is known as gravitas will pull you, and the light will transmit to you. This is the second question was, Gurunath, what do we do when he comes? What is our work? Do we take our sword in hands and slay all the terrorists and evil people? I said, basically, the work which we are given, you are already doing with me. Our whole organization of Kriya Yoga, the Siddhanath Yoga, Kriya Yoga Parampara. So the Siddhanath Kriya Yoga Parampara will practice the science of Kriya Yoga, help in the vibrations of peace all over the world, and practice the earth peace meditations. This is the work that we are to do before the Kalki avatar comes. These were the two questions which people had asked me. I think this should satisfy them. And all people, not only Kriya Yoga, in my thing, if they're doing Bhakti Yoga and Raj Yoga, which is Kriya Yoga, and Gyan Yoga, all of them will help in the work of the Kalki avatar. And also the Christians praying in the church, the Muslim people doing their namaz, and the Seventh-day Adventists doing their liturgy, whatever it is. All religions of the world will help in the work of the Kalki avatar.
Does the heralding of the Kalki avatar you mentioned brings Satyog? Is it a more sattvic era, or is it actually heralding Satyug? Because I thought going from Kali, we'd go to Dwapar, then Treta, and then back to Satyug, wouldn't we? Like go through that procession?
Yes, yes. Let me answer this question. There are many wheels within wheels, circle within circles, wheels within wheels. The
Right.
bigger cosmic Satyug will be a huge cycle, and that cycle, they may you see, the life of Brahma, the creator, or the life of our creation, the great sages and rishis, which scientists are also trying to confirm, the life of our creation is 3 trillion 40 billion thousand years. Now, in this 3 trillion, let us say, I'm just giving you an example, just get the idea. I'm not accurate on figures. So in these 3 trillion, let's say 6.5 or 7 trillion is Kali Yuga. Other 7 trillion is Dwapar Yuga. Then another 7 trillion is Treta, and the other 7 trillion is Satyug. But within this big cycle of trillion, there is another much, much smaller cycles. There are many other cycles, 4 other smaller cycles. Hence, from trillion, they go to billions. In that cycle, some billion years, Treta, Dwapar, Satya, and this thing. Within that sub-cycle are another 4 cycles, which is the cycle of the human cycle, which is 24,000 years. From 3 trillion years, we have come to 24,000. This is the cycle we are talking about, not of the cycle of the 7 spheres of the yugas. Om Bhuva, Om Bhuva. These are the 7 layers. Om Bhuva, Om Bhuva, Om Swaha, Om Maha, Om Jana, Om Tapa, Om Satyam. All of them have their vaster and smaller and smaller and smaller cycles till you come to the human cycle, which Jnanavatar Sri Yukteswar has written in his book Kaivalya Darshanam. That is a cycle of 24,000 years. Now, the 24,000 years cycle is like this. From here, it is Satya Yuga. Okay. Then there's Treta. Then there's Dwapar. And there's Kali. And then from here starts Kali, Treta, Dwapar, and Satya. So the Satya Yuga comes here in the 24-year-old cycle, and the Kali Yuga comes at the bottom. 12 years, 12-year cycle. So in that 12 years cycle, it's 2 by 2 mirror image. So in this small cycle of 12 years, this cycle of 12 coming in 7 years, that is 12,000 years. Yeah, there is a smaller cycle of 12 years and 12 years also. So coming to smaller cycles also, to one day also. In one day, there are 4 yugas. 24, 6 hours, 6 hours, 6 hours, 6 hours. So this one we are talking about is 12,000 years here and 12,000 years here. In that 12,000 year cycle, the human cycle, not the not the astral cycle or the deva cycle or the terrestrial or the celestial cycle. This is a human cycle, not even the geographic cycle. In this, there are 7 years left for Satyayug. It's a small cycle. So it's cycle within cycle. That solves the problem. People say, oh, in the Vedas and Upanishads, it's written some lakh crore years. All those are the cycles of the devas. Then bigger than that is the cosmic cycle of cosmic beings. So this is the human cycle. Therefore, in 7 years, Satyayug is coming. The other Satyayugas of other planes and other higher, bigger cycles, of which we will benefit when we will benefit. But coming down circle within circle, it is 7 years. This is the cycle.
Oh, that is so clarifying. Thank you so much for that. And then in the 24,000 year cycle, we are still within the Kali Yuga, yes? Certain people
No,
have said that we're
no.
emerging out of
Now
Kali Yuga
we
at the
have
moment.
now we have entered. We are just at the cusp.
The liminal
Of
edge.
Yeah, it should be the cusp. If it comes, the Satyayug will come. It's not the Kali Yuga. After the Treta, the Satyayug. Even in the small cycle, after Treta, the Satyayug comes, then the Satyayug of the other half, then Treta of the other half. So now it is going to be the Satyayug. Somehow it is the Kali Yuga has the vaster Kali Yuga. We have been exonerated from and reeled in to the human Kali Yuga. So they said, Sri Yukteswar said last we were in the Dwapar. From the Dwapar, I think the swab Treta will come, and from the sub Treta, the sub Kali Yuga will come, the sub Satyayug. So that's the golden age, the dawn of the new era. That is the golden age. So this is a clarification, because people were saying it's 400 years hence. In a larger cycle, a larger terrestrial cycle, it may be 400, but in the personal human cycle, it is 7 years to Satyayug. You have to calculate by 7 years how much this cycle would be in relation to the other cycle. It can be calculated. So this is the clarification.
Thank you so much, Yogiraj ji. And I mean, the question that begets from there is, like you said, what do we do through these times? And Kriya, I'll put links to everything for people that want to explore more Kriya through the Institute. I'll put all that in the description in the show notes below for everybody to access. Thank you. I mean, how do I begin to thank you for today's conversation, today's transmission?
Because you've got, other than the conversation, you've got something much more.
Touch wood.
And that cannot be
Yogiraj.
thanked, because that's your birthright.
Yeah,
And I'm there to awaken that, to awaken this euphoria. Lulls me to ecstasy's rosy rest. Get lulled into a rosy rest. That's called the Shakti path, the transmission. And all masters, enlightened masters, give this transmission. That is one of the litmus tests of a Sadguru. That he, without giving it, it automatically exudes from his body. That is the signs of the master.
Touch one. Thank you so much for your blessings.
All my blessings are with you. I've given you the force. I've given you the force, the transmission, so I can afford to say, may the force be with you. You know that, right? That's Shakti.
Wow. Yo, inspired soul human being, you made it to the end of Touchwood, another incredible podcast. Yogiraj was absolutely phenomenal to receive this content from. I mean, I want to hear from you in the comments below. You've obviously made it this far to the end of a conversation, so please, you did like the video, give it a like and a thumbs up. It advocates for more content like this online. So thank you so much for that. And also, what did you take away? What did you feel? What did your mind go through? What did your heart go through? Was it a felt experience? Was it a mental experience? What were the biggest learnings you took away? What did you take away? from this conversation with Yogiraj. And if you'd like to see more conversations like this, let me know. Getting on Indian teachers and sages and masters is something I personally absolutely love and adore, but I'm not sure as an audience, whether you have a larger appetite for, some of these more Indian esoteric teachings. Please let me know in the comments below if this is for you. And again, if you give the video a thumbs up and a like, we can see that it's doing really well, and we can get on more sages like Yogiraj onto the podcast. Thank you so much again for your ongoing love and support. And on that note, to all of you that are subscribed to the channel, thank you, Touchwood. Everything you see around here is powered and empowered by your subscription to the channel. Yeah, everything. Guests like Yogiraj come on to share their insights and wisdom thanks to your support. So thank you so much for making this co-creation what it is. To all of you that haven't yet subscribed, please do take a moment. As I'm saying the word subscribe, the button below is lighting up in the colors of the Inspired Evolution. Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon, and join the movement, join the community, spreading love, positivity, and wisdom like this, Touchwood, around the planet together. Don't forget, if you want to take your roots to the community even deeper, we have the Inspired Evolution Circle. I'll put a link to the description below, and you can join us on the inside if you feel called to ask questions of people like Yogiraj yourself once a month, and join in meditation with me and other community members, and sharings and online offerings together, and in-person things are starting to emerge as well, so you can join the inner circle. To take your inspirations and keep them evolving onwards, upwards, and inwards, on screen now, 3 more episodes of the Inspired Evolution. So go on, take your pick, make your click. I'll see you in the next one.